Introduction to HTML as a course that we are supposed to study, and this is going to not take us a very long time. There are 20 pages that we are going to look at. It is an introduction, but later we are going to also be covering CSS, and that is where we shall meet more of the HTML tags. But for starters, before we do anything else, I would want you to open my computer. I'm using, this is Ubuntu or Linux. So to open my computer, find your favorite location and create a folder there. For purposes of study, we can create another folder and we call it HTML and CSS, so such that we have the same thing inside that folder, HTML and CSS. Let us have two other folders, one that will hold our images, this is how we are going to plan, and one that will hold our CSS files. In most cases, people tend to put all these files in one folder, but the right way of programming, especially web, is to have certain things in their own specific folders. That way you can link easily, that way you can have enough knowing that everything is saved in the right place. And then we can now get back to our notes. Here we are saying HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and we are saying that HTML describes the future, or rather the structure of a web page. We shall see what that means. We are also saying that HTML consists of a series of elements. We shall look at what an element is, what an element tag is. We shall, as we move along. We are also saying that HTML elements tell the browser how to display the content. Once we start working with elements, you will see what this means, that it can tell the browser how to display the content. So if it is a paragraph tag, then it is telling the browser that you can display like this. If it is a heading, then which type of heading. If it is a table, then how is the table going to be displayed? That is what we mean. We are saying that HTML elements are represented by tags, and we are saying HTML tags label pieces of content such as heading, paragraphs, tables, and so on. So the tags are in form of what are they going to do. So each tag has its own specific purpose, as we are going to see shortly. We also have browsers do not display HTML tags but use them to render the content of the page. So in case you are coding and you realize that, say, a tag like H1, a tag like BR, break line, is visible on a web page, then it means either it is in a wrong place or you typed it wrongly. It is not supposed to be where it is supposed to work. So otherwise tags will never be displayed on your web page. So now that we are on HTML, I believe you have already installed Visual Studio Code. It is a text editor that we are going to use, and very good for, personally, is what I prefer while doing web programming. While writing other programs, I use other integrated environments, development environments, IDE. So you can head to your Visual Studio Code. As you can see, mine has got a lot of things that I keep trying out as I make your notes. For the start, your page would look like this without anything. and most likely it would be in this format. So what are you going to do? We have created our folder. All you need to do is come to file and say open folder, then locate that folder was created. Mine was in documents and it was called HTML and CSS. So when I press OK, my folder will open and I can be able to view what now for now that it is empty because there is nothing else we have saved in there. There are two ways. One way, you can simply click on HTML here and then select this, but for you to be sure, you can simply say new file and then a new file will open, or you can very many languages. That is why they are asking me to choose a language I'm going to use, but yours I'm sure will not ask you for, since you have, it is probably your first time using this text editor, so it won't ask you to choose the language you are going to use. But this one here, I use it for many other programming languages. That is why they're asking me all those questions. So now we have created a new file. We can even go ahead and create another one. If I want, I would choose it directly from here. If I don't want, I can save and then select the type of file. So as you can see, they are here. They are not structured anywhere so far. They are not placed or categorized anywhere. So I'm going to save the first one, and since it is an HTML file, I want to call it maybe index. It is being saved under documents, HTML and CSS, the main folder that houses the other two folders. So I click save. Now you can see it is appearing here. I can come back here to CSS. I open the files, the folder CSS. You can now see that it is increasing from Sky Codes, documents. This would be my computer, for example, when you are using a Windows operating system. Then you go to maybe local disk D or your documents or desktop where you created the folder, and then the CSS folder. So this can be index.css. Why index.css? Because I want to make sure that I've named them properly. If the file was called, say, selectors, like we shall see, then I would have this file also as selectors.css. But since we are working on HTML today, and one of the first, actually what you will come to observe is that index.html will always be your first file. If you are actually going to go ahead with web development, it can be index.html, it can be index.php, preferably PHP if you are going to have dynamic web pages created. So we can save this and you can see the difference of how they look like. Now we are dealing with HTML. If we get back to our notes a little bit, you can see this is what we are going to try and recreate. This one here as an example explained. I'm interested majorly in this part, doc type HTML. What is its purpose? Its purpose is that it's a declaration that defines this document to be HTML5 as of 2021. That is the version we are currently using. And then everything else, we say that the HTML provides the structure of the web page. So the tag HTML would work as a root of an HTML page. So here we begin. Doc type HTML. There we go. For Visual Studio Code, you do not need to first put the anchor tag, the left anchor tag, or the less than anchor rather, or symbol. You can just type HTML, hit enter. From that we have head. Inside head there is another tag called title. We shall see what this means. Title, it will be the title of the page. What will the page read on top? When we type it there, we can see, we can call it intro to HTML. One more, here we have meta. This meta is going to hold very many things. For now we are simply going to set a character set. What we mean by a character set is that this will tell the web browser which type of font we are going to use, the font family, the font size, and the character shaping. We are going to use UTF by default, where Visual Studio Code uses the same thing. It is down here. By default it uses that. There are many things inside head. We can use what we call styling. If we want to style the page directly inside HTML, the style tag is used inside the head. We can also use we do links. That's why we put our links for other websites, for other pages, for links of very many kinds. If we want to, for example, you link to a certain image, we can also put it there. If we want to link to a certain font type on the website, we can put it there. Instead of using import in CSS, as we shall see, we can also link from here. There are many things that we can include in the head section. Then the next one, the next HTML structure is what we call the body. Now, this is one of the most important areas of an HTML page, because everything that you want displayed on an HTML page is done inside the body tags. Anything you think of, whether you want to insert images, whether you are simply typing words, whether they are going to be tables, whether they're going to be forms, animations, as long as you want them displayed on your web page, they are going to be inside these two tags, the opening tag of body and then the closing tag of that. Note that each HTML tag so far we have used, apart from meta, has an opening. Like you see HTML here, when I click, highlights it down here. The same applies to body, the same applies to title. So for now we can save, or the best way is to come, say click or check auto save here, such that all you do is to simply keep typing. You never get bothered about how this is going, whether it is saved or not. For now it is saved. Another important thing to note is when we save the index.css, you can see now it is under the folder CSS. How do I know? If I go back to my folder, you can see it is index.html here under HTML and CSS. When I open CSS, I find the index.css file, and that is how yours is supposed to be. If it is not, copy the file. Most of you, you make a mistake and all of the two files are saved here. What you do, right click on it, cut it, and then paste it inside here. Go back to the Visual Studio Code, click file, and then open the folder again, so that when you click on your CSS, the index.css file is actually under or inside the CSS folder. So now you can open your web browser. In Ubuntu I usually use Firefox. You can use Google Chrome. I also have it here, but for now I'm going to use Firefox. And once I am on Firefox or the web browser, I can simply press Ctrl O, and I will be able to open this particular folder, or I can simply drag my file to open it. So it was in documents, HTML and CSS, then index.html. Right now it is empty. There is nothing we have typed in the body section, but there is something that is already visible on our page, and that particularly is what I'm interested in. And one other thing you need to note is that this is not word that it will know most of your English errors. So be careful, reread when you are designing, you reread the notes or the words you are typing, because sometimes they have errors and you have no way of knowing unless you reread or proofread. So currently there is nothing on our page, but at least we have what we call a title. So when you come back again here, you can see our title is intro to HTML. Now you can as well see it here, intro to HTML. This is the location of our file. It is a file residing directly here on the machine you are currently using. So we can as well say congratulations, you have just created your first page, much as it is empty, but at least be thankful that you have been following all these things. So when we come back to our notes, you can see we have H1, we have a paragraph, then we have an image. So let's try recreating that. We can come to the body section and say H1, preferably rather lowercase characters is what is preferable. So H1 we can say I am learning. Maybe I need to zoom this a little bit. I hope you are seeing. Can say I am learning how to create a web page in HTML5. Oh, this can also be used as a paragraph. We can say welcome to my page. Then we can put a paragraph here. A paragraph is used with if you want to create a paragraph, you say P for paragraph, H1 for heading 1. So I can now paste the other thing here. Then we can also probably create our first image. In our image we use the image tag img, press enter. It has the first two attributes of an image tag, what we have as src. src here means source. All these are in your notes, so that is why I'm not writing the explanations here, but later on I will be writing these explanations. So src is the source, and this represents where your image is. Input where the image is located, but that is not what you are supposed to type there. This is just information. Alt represents, this is what is an attribute called alternative text, and its purpose is to make sure that in case you can press, by the way, Ctrl B to hide this section. If you want more space, which I want currently since I've zoomed, so I press Ctrl B and we shall hide that like that. If I want it, I press Ctrl B again and this bar will come back. So alternative text, its purpose is to inform somebody on this page of yours that the image that was supposed to be here was maybe wildlife, or preferably it was an image of a lion. It was an image of a lion, just like that. You can maybe say lion underscore image. This also helps you to know that the image that is not displaying, in case you have not put this location properly, then the alternative text will appear on your web page. I told you if you have not clicked on file autosave, you will have to save with Ctrl S. Now we can go back to our web page. Here we'll refresh by this or by pressing F5, and here we are. Welcome to my page. I'm learning how to create a web page in HTML5, and now you can see, since we have not put in any image, then we are able to only see the alternative text. So that is its major importance. I will leave it like that. When we come to inserting an image, we shall come back to it. For now, we are good to go and look at something else.